Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever considered that the most significant moments in our lives often happen in the most ordinary circumstances? A simple conversation, an unexpected delay, or a random act of kindness may seem insignificant at first. But in the divine plan of God, they may be leading us to one of life's greatest blessings, our soulmate. God does not operate according to human logic or societal timelines. While we may seek love through our own understanding, God works in ways beyond our comprehension. He aligns paths, refines hearts, and orchestrates encounters in ways that only He can. Before God brings two people together, He prepares them individually. He refines their patience, strengthens their faith, and teaches them valuable lessons through life's experiences. The waiting season is not a punishment, but a process, a divine preparation for the love He has in store. Many times we overlook God's work in our lives because we expect love to arrive in a dramatic, earth-shattering way. Yet love often grows in the small, unnoticed moments. A kind word, a shared passion, a selfless act of care. God speaks through these moments, but only those with a discerning heart can recognize them. It is crucial to trust the process, even when it does not align with our expectations. Sometimes God's delays are not denials, but redirections, ensuring that we meet the right person at the right time. Our disappointments may be His way of protecting us from settling for less than His best. So how do we position ourselves to receive this divine connection? By deepening our relationship with God, embracing His timing, and keeping our hearts open to His guidance. Love is not just about finding the right person, it is about becoming the right person, prepared to love as God intended. Let us remember, God is always at work, even in the most ordinary moments of our lives. When the time is right, He will bring two hearts together in a way that no human effort could have achieved. Our role is to trust, remain faithful, and recognize His hand in the journey of love. Life is often a series of seemingly ordinary moments, waking up, going to work, meeting friends, running errands. But what if these everyday occurrences were not random? What if, in the middle of a routine day, God was carefully aligning circumstances to lead you toward one of the most important relationships of your life? Divine timing is not always marked by dramatic events or miraculous signs. More often, God operates through the ordinary, weaving together moments that we may not even realize are significant until later. In His infinite wisdom, He orchestrates paths to cross at precisely the right time. What may appear to us as a coincidence, a delayed bus, a last-minute change of plans, a conversation with a stranger, could very well be a divine setup, positioning us in the exact place we need to be. Throughout the Bible, we see how God used everyday moments to fulfill His divine purposes. Take the story of Ruth and Boaz, for example. Ruth was simply gathering leftover grain in the fields, a humble and routine task. Yet in the midst of that ordinary moment, she encountered Boaz, a man who would become her protector and husband. To Ruth, she was simply working to provide for herself and her mother-in-law Naomi, but in God's plan, He was using that seemingly small decision to lead her toward a love that was part of His greater purpose. In our lives, the same principle applies. We often pray for God to reveal His will in grand ways, expecting visions, dreams, or unmistakable signs. While He certainly can work in miraculous ways, we must not overlook the quiet, unnoticed moments where His hand is moving just as powerfully. It could be a conversation at a coffee shop, an unexpected encounter at an event, or a connection through a mutual friend. When we trust in divine timing, we realize that no moment is insignificant in God's plan. However, embracing divine timing requires patience and faith. Sometimes we may feel frustrated when love does not appear when we expect it to. We may question why certain relationships fail or why we are still waiting. But God does not operate on human schedules. His timing is perfect, and every delay, every redirection, and every closed door is part of a larger plan to bring us into alignment with His best for us. One of the greatest challenges is learning to recognize these moments as they happen. This requires spiritual discernment and trust in God's process. Instead of rushing through life, we should remain present and attentive, understanding that God is working even when we do not see it. The right person may already be within our circle, or they may be someone we are yet to meet through an unexpected turn of events. Ultimately, divine timing is about trusting that God is always at work, even in the most ordinary details of our lives. By walking in faith and surrendering our timeline to Him, we open ourselves to the beautiful reality that when God writes our love story, He does so with wisdom, purpose, and perfect timing. Before God brings two people together in a meaningful, lasting relationship, He first works on them individually. Love is not merely about finding the right person. It is also about becoming the right person. Many people desire a soulmate, but they often overlook the spiritual preparation that must take place before they are truly ready for the love God intends for them. God's process of preparation is not always easy, but it is always necessary. Just as gold is refined in fire, He allows us to go through seasons of growth, transformation, and even hardship, to shape us into individuals capable of loving and being loved in a way that honors Him. This preparation is not about perfection, but about maturity, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. One key aspect of this preparation is developing a strong personal relationship with God. Before we can love someone else in a way that is pure and selfless, we must first understand and experience God's love for ourselves. His love teaches us patience, kindness, and humility, all qualities that are essential in a healthy, God-centered relationship. When we are grounded in our faith, we are less likely to seek validation from relationships and more likely to approach love with confidence and security. Another part of preparation is personal healing. Many times, people carry wounds from past experiences, whether from childhood, past relationships, or personal struggles. These wounds, if left unhealed, can become obstacles in future relationships. God often uses our waiting season to heal these areas, teaching us forgiveness, self-worth, and emotional resilience. He does this not to delay love, but to ensure that when love arrives, we are whole and ready to receive it. Spiritual preparation also involves learning to trust in God's plan. In a world that often encourages impatience and instant gratification, waiting on God's timing can feel difficult. However, this waiting period is a time of refining, where God teaches us faith, patience, and reliance on Him. When we learn to trust Him fully, we are less likely to rush into relationships out of loneliness or desperation. Instead, we wait with expectation, knowing that His timing is always perfect. Moreover, God may use this time to shape our character. He places us in situations that test our integrity, responsibility, and ability to love others selflessly. He may challenge us to develop better communication skills, practice self-discipline, or grow in areas where we struggle. All of these lessons are crucial because love is not just about emotions. It is about commitment, selflessness, and perseverance. It is also important to recognize that preparation is a two-way process. While God is preparing us, He is also preparing the person He has for us. Just as we are growing, learning, and healing, so is the person God intends for us. Understanding this helps us to be patient, knowing that the delay is not a denial, but a divine process where two individuals are being molded to complement and uplift each other in the best possible way. Ultimately, God's preparation is a gift. It ensures that when love comes, It is not built on fragile foundations, but on faith, wisdom, and a deep understanding of what it truly means to love and be loved according to his perfect design. Love is often imagined as a grand dramatic event, fireworks, fate-filled encounters, and instant recognition. While love can be extraordinary, the way God reveals it is often through simple, everyday moments. Many people miss the signs of God's guidance in their relationships because they expect something overwhelming or obvious. However, God often speaks in stillness, through small and consistent indicators that, when noticed, lead us toward his intended path. Recognizing God's signs requires spiritual awareness and an open heart. God does not typically send flashing lights or loud announcements when he is leading us to someone. Instead, he works through peace, alignment, and repeated confirmations. One of the first ways to recognize his signs is through an unexplainable sense of peace. When God is orchestrating a relationship, it does not come with anxiety, confusion, or constant uncertainty. While no relationship is without challenges, a God-ordained connection is marked by a deep, steady peace that reassures you that you are walking in the right direction. Another sign God gives is alignment. When two people are meant to be together, their values, life purposes, and spiritual journeys begin to align. This does not mean they will be identical in every way, but there will be a shared vision, mutual respect, and an understanding that they are walking toward a similar future. This alignment often comes naturally without force. If a relationship constantly feels like an uphill battle for connection or compatibility, it may be a sign that it is not God's best. God also speaks through wise counsel. Many times he confirms his will through the people he places in our lives: mentors, family, and spiritually mature friends. These individuals may see qualities in a person that we overlook, either good or bad. When multiple people who care about our spiritual well-being affirm a relationship, it is often a sign that God is giving his confirmation. Conversely, if godly counsel repeatedly warns us about a relationship, we should take it as a serious indication that it may not be in alignment with God's will. Repeated patterns and divine coincidences are another way God communicates his plans. Have you ever met someone in an unexpected place multiple times, or found that your paths keep crossing in ways that seem too specific to be random? God often works through these moments, gently guiding two people toward each other. However, recognizing these moments requires attentiveness and discernment, as not every coincidence is a divine sign. God also speaks through his word. If we are seeking clarity, we must spend time in Scripture and prayer. The Bible is filled with principles about love, relationships, and marriage. When we study God's word, we develop the wisdom to differentiate between a relationship that is from him and one that is based purely on our emotions or desires. A relationship that is truly from God will reflect his character, love, patience, kindness, faithfulness, and selflessness. Ultimately, recognizing God's signs is about staying spiritually connected and trusting that he is always speaking, even in the smallest details. When we seek his guidance with an open heart, he will reveal his plan in ways that are subtle yet undeniable. One of the most difficult yet important aspects of finding a soulmate is trusting God's process. In a world that promotes instant gratification, waiting on God's timing can feel frustrating. We often expect love to come according to our own schedules, but God operates on a divine timeline that is far greater than our understanding. Trusting his process means believing that every delay, every closed door, and every unexpected turn is leading us toward his best for us. God's process is not meant to test our patience without purpose. Instead, it is designed to prepare us, refine us, and protect us from relationships that are not aligned with his will. Many times we face setbacks in love, heartbreaks, disappointments, and seasons of loneliness. It is easy to question why God allows these experiences, but every difficulty serves a purpose. Sometimes a relationship does not work out because God is shielding us from future pain. Other times we are being shaped into the person we need to become before stepping into a God-ordained relationship. One of the greatest challenges in trusting God's process is surrendering control. As humans, we like to plan and take matters into our own hands. We may attempt to force relationships that are not meant for us, or rush into commitments out of fear of being alone. However, when we try to take control, we often step outside of God's will. Trusting God means allowing Him to lead even when we do not understand the path ahead. God's process also involves learning to embrace the waiting season. Waiting is not wasted time, it is a time of preparation, growth, and discovery. While waiting for the right person, we have the opportunity to deepen our relationship with God, strengthen our character, and pursue personal goals. This season is not about passively waiting, but actively becoming the best version of ourselves. The right relationship will come in God's perfect time, and when it does, we will be ready to receive it. Another key part of trusting God's process is understanding that His timing is perfect. Many people feel pressure from society, family, or even themselves to find love by a certain age or stage in life. However, God is not bound by human timelines. Some people meet their soulmate early in life while others find love later. What matters is not when love arrives, but that it arrives according to God's will. Trusting God also means embracing the lessons that come with the journey. Every experience, whether positive or painful, teaches us something valuable about ourselves and what we need in a relationship. Even failed relationships are not wasted. They provide wisdom, resilience, and a clearer understanding of what true love should look like. Ultimately, God's process is designed for our good. Though it may not always make sense in the moment, His plan is always perfect. When we fully surrender to His timing, trust His wisdom, and allow Him to guide our path, we can be confident that He is leading us toward a love that is worth the wait. As we reflect on how God uses everyday moments to lead us to our soulmate, we begin to see that love is not merely a matter of chance. It is a divine orchestration. Through His perfect timing, He aligns our paths in ways we may not always recognize at first. Every encounter, every lesson, and even every delay is part of His greater purpose. Before love arrives, God works on us individually, shaping us into the person He has called us to be. He refines our hearts, strengthens our faith, and teaches us patience. In the quiet moments of waiting, He is preparing both us and our future partner, ensuring that when the time is right, our love will be built on a strong foundation. The key to recognizing God's hand in our love story is attentiveness. Paying attention to the peace He provides, the alignment He creates, and the wisdom He offers through His word and through those around us. Love from God is never forced. It unfolds naturally in the right time and in the right way. Most importantly, we must trust His process. While the journey to finding a soulmate may not always go as we expect, God's plan is never late and is never wrong. Every closed door, every season of waiting, and every unexpected turn is leading us closer to the person He has chosen for us. So, let us move forward with faith, knowing that when God writes our love story, He does so with wisdom, purpose, and perfect love. If we trust Him, remain patient, and open our hearts to His guidance, we will one day look back and see that every moment, no matter how small, was leading us exactly where we were meant to be.